Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to stand here today and speak about something that defines not just success, but strength, resilience, and purpose, the mindset of a winner woman. A winner woman is not simply someone who achieves success. She is someone who refuses to be defined by limits, who dares to challenge the expectations placed upon her, and who understands that her power comes from within. Winning is not just about reaching the top. It is about the courage to begin, the strength to keep going, and the wisdom to lift others along the way. It is about making mistakes and embracing them as lessons. It is about understanding that setbacks are not failures, but stepping stones. A winner woman does not fear rejection. She embraces it, knowing that every no brings her closer to a resounding yes. Resilience is the defining trait of a winner woman. It is the ability to rise after every fall, to keep going despite failures, and to see setbacks not as barriers but as lessons. Every successful woman has faced rejection, disappointment, and moments of self-doubt. The difference is that she refuses to let those moments define her. She understands that failure is not the opposite of success, but a crucial part of the journey toward it. A winner woman does not fear failure because she knows it is inevitable. She does not allow herself to be paralyzed by the fear of making mistakes. Instead, she embraces them, knowing that every failure is an opportunity to learn, grow, and refine her approach. She views challenges as tests of her strength and perseverance rather than as reasons to quit. The world often expects women to be perfect, to get everything right on the first try, to never show weakness. But true strength lies in the willingness to be vulnerable, to admit when something didn't go as planned, and to try again with even more determination. Throughout history, women who have changed the world have faced rejection countless times. Whether in business, sport, science, politics, or the arts, they have been told no more times than they can count. But they didn't stop. They used those experiences to fuel their passion rather than extinguish it. They took every failure as feedback, every challenge as a lesson, and every setback as a setup for a greater comeback. A winner woman is someone who understands that resilience is built through adversity. She does not seek an easy path, nor does she expect success to come without struggle. She accepts that growth happens in discomfort. She does not complain about obstacles. She finds ways to overcome them. After over 30, she does not dwell on past mistakes. She extracts wisdom from them and moves forward with greater clarity. She also recognizes that resilience is not just about external achievements. It is about emotional strength. It is about the ability to manage disappointment, to cope with criticism, and to stay committed even when progress feels slow. She does not break under pressure, but learns to thrive within it. When others question her abilities, she does not allow their doubts to shake her confidence. Instead, she uses it as motivation to prove, not to them, but to herself, that she is capable of more than even she imagined. A winner woman does not compare her journey to others. She understands that success is not a straight path, but a winding road filled with highs and lows. She does not get discouraged when she sees others succeeding, because she knows that every person's timeline is different. She remains focused on her own growth, knowing that setbacks are temporary, but the lessons they bring are invaluable. She also knows that resilience is not about pretending to be unaffected by difficulties. It is about acknowledging pain, frustration, and disappointment, but choosing not to be controlled by them. She allows herself to feel, to process, but she never allows those emotions to keep her from moving forward. She picks herself up time and time again, no matter how many times she falls. In the face of adversity, a winner woman does not retreat. She adapts. She finds new strategies, explores new possibilities, and never stops seeking solutions. She does not see closed doors as the end of the road, but as a sign that another path must be taken. She does not let failure break her spirit. She lets it sharpen her determination. She does not view rejection as proof that she is not enough, but as proof that she is pushing boundaries and daring to go beyond what is expected. She knows that resilience is a muscle that grows stronger with every challenge faced. The more she endures, the more unstoppable she becomes. A winner woman knows that her voice matters. She refuses to remain silent in a world that often tells her to lower her tone, to wait her turn, to be agreeable rather than assertive. She understands that speaking up is not just about making noise. It is about standing for what she believes in, challenging injustice, and claiming her rightful space. She is not afraid to disrupt the status quo because she knows that progress does not come from silence. It comes from courage. From a young age, women are often taught to be polite, to avoid confrontation, to apologize for taking up space. They are encouraged to be agreeable, to soften their opinions, to hesitate before asserting themselves. But a winner woman rejects these limitations. She does not wait for permission to express herself. She understands that her thoughts, her ideas, and her experiences are valuable, and she refuses to let anyone diminish them. She speaks with confidence, not arrogance, knowing that her perspective deserves to be heard. A winner woman also understands that using her voice is not just about personal gain, it is about creating change. She speaks up not only for herself, but for those who are unheard, unseen, and overlooked. She knows that every time she raises her voice, she empowers another woman to do the same. She is not afraid to challenge norms, to question unfairness, to demand better. She does not accept inequality as just the way things are. She actively works to change them. She also understands that finding her voice is a journey. It takes practice, courage, and resilience. There will be times when she feels intimidated, when she wonders if her words will make a difference, when she hesitates because she fears judgment. But she speaks anyway. She refuses to let doubt silence her. She understands that even when her voice shakes, it still carries power. She embraces discomfort because she knows that growth comes from stepping outside of her comfort zone. A winner woman does not tailor her words to please others at the expense of her own truth. She does not shrink herself to make others comfortable. She does not downplay her achievements, ideas, or ambitions to avoid being seen as too bold. She embraces her intelligence, her passion, and her strength, knowing that they are assets, not weaknesses. She refuses to be silenced by societal expectations or outdated traditions that try to limit her potential. She also understands the importance of assertiveness. She does not wait to be chosen. She chooses herself. She does not wait for opportunities to come to her, she creates them. She does not stay silent when she deserves a raise, when she has a great idea, when she sees injustice. She speaks with authority because she believes in her worth. She is not afraid of being called too ambitious or too outspoken because she knows that these labels are often used to discourage women from stepping into their power. A winner woman is also a listener. She knows that a strong voice is not just about speaking, but also about understanding. She listens to different perspectives, she learns from others, and she grows from conversations. But she never allows anyone to silence her truth. She respects differing opinions, but she does not compromise her values. She remains firm in her beliefs, even when it is difficult. She also understands that her voice is not just her words, it is her actions. She leads by example, showing others that courage is contagious. She refuses to stand by while others are mistreated. She speaks up in boardrooms, in classrooms, in conversations where people try to dismiss her. She does not let fear stop her from making an impact. She recognizes that every time she asserts herself, she challenges the outdated belief that women should be seen but not heard. A winner woman understands that true success is not about standing alone at the top, but about bringing others with her. She knows that competition is often a distraction from real growth, and that collaboration leads to greater achievements. She does not see other women as threats, but as allies, knowing that when women support each other, everyone rises. She rejects the outdated belief that there is only room for one at the table, and instead focuses on building longer tables where more women can have a seat. She is secure in her own journey, which allows her to celebrate the successes of others without feeling diminished. She does not compare herself to other women or fall into the trap of jealousy or insecurity. She knows that another woman's success does not take away from her own, and that lifting others up does not make her weaker, it makes her stronger. She is confident in her abilities and understands that helping others does not mean she will lose her own opportunities. Instead, she believes that success is abundant and that there is space for everyone who is willing to work for it. A winner woman understands the power of mentorship. She does not hoard knowledge or opportunities, but shares them freely. She remembers the struggles she faced on her way up, and instead of watching others go through the same difficulties, she offers guidance and support. She knows that real leaders create more leaders. She takes the time to encourage, to teach, and to open doors for those who come after her. She understands that the next generation of strong women will be built on the foundation of support, not competition. She also understands that collaboration is about trust and mutual respect. She chooses to work with people who share her vision, who bring different strengths to the table, and who are equally committed to achieving greatness. She knows that great things are rarely accomplished alone, and that teamwork is often the key to making a real impact. She does not allow ego to stand in the way of progress. She values the ideas and contributions of others and gives credit where it is due. She leads with integrity, always making sure that success is shared rather than claimed solely for herself. A winner woman is not afraid to ask for help. She understands that strength is not about doing everything alone, but about recognizing when collaboration will lead to better results. She does not see asking for support as a weakness, but as a smart and strategic decision. She surrounds herself with people who inspire her, challenge her, and push her to be better. She understands that iron sharpens iron, and that the right partnerships can elevate her beyond what she could achieve on her own. She also actively works against the narrative that women should compete with one another. She refuses to engage in gossip, backstabbing, or undermining others for personal gain. She sets an example of what true empowerment looks like by choosing to uplift rather than tear down. She celebrates the achievements of other women loudly and proudly, knowing that their wins are a reflection of what is possible for all. She fosters a culture of encouragement where success is not about stepping over others, but about climbing together. She knows that her success is more meaningful when it is shared. She understands that breaking barriers is important, but keeping the door open for others is even more powerful. She works to create opportunities not just for herself, but for those who have been overlooked or underestimated. She understands that real empowerment is about making sure that no woman feels alone in her struggles, that no woman has to fight the same battles that could have been eased with guidance and support. She believes in the power of unity, knowing that when women come together, they create movements, change systems, and build legacies. She does not just want success for herself, she wants it for every woman who dares to dream. A winner woman understands that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. She knows that waiting until she feels fully ready is often an excuse that keeps her from moving forward. She refuses to let doubt, uncertainty, or fear of failure hold her back. She recognizes that every successful person has faced moments of hesitation, but the difference lies in taking action anyway. She does not wait for perfect conditions. She creates opportunities by stepping forward, even when she feels unprepared. She understands that confidence is built through action. The more she dares to put herself out there, the more she strengthens her belief in her abilities. She does not wait for external validation to prove her worth. She validates herself by showing up and doing the work. She knows that courage is a muscle that grows stronger every time she pushes through discomfort. She embraces challenges as opportunities to build resilience and deepen her self-trust. She does not let fear dictate her choices. Instead, she acknowledges it and moves forward with determination. A winner woman does not let perfectionism paralyze her. She knows that striving for excellence is valuable, but waiting for everything to be flawless can become an excuse to delay progress. She understands that mistakes are inevitable and that every failure is an opportunity to learn. She does not let the fear of judgment stop her from taking risks. She accepts that criticism is part of growth and that no one who has ever achieved great things did so without facing opposition. She chooses to focus on her goals rather than on the opinions of those who do not understand her vision. She also embraces uncertainty. She knows that stepping into the unknown is uncomfortable, but she does not let the fear of what might go wrong stop her from pursuing what could go right. She understands that the biggest opportunities often come disguised as risks. She does not let fear of rejection prevent her from applying for the job, starting the business, sharing her ideas, or asking for what she deserves. She takes calculated risks, knowing that growth comes from pushing beyond her comfort zone. She does not wait for motivation to take action. She understands that motivation is unreliable and that discipline is what drives success. She takes action even on days when she does not feel inspired. She stays committed to her goals, knowing that consistency is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. She builds habits that keep her moving forward, regardless of how she feels in the moment. She trains herself to push through resistance, understanding that progress is often found in persistence. A winner woman refuses to let setbacks define her. She knows that failure is not a reflection of her worth, but a necessary part of growth. She does not dwell on past mistakes or allow them to shake her confidence. Instead, she extracts lessons from them and applies them to her next steps. She refuses to let temporary obstacles turn into permanent excuses. She understands that every setback is an opportunity to refine her approach and come back stronger. She takes responsibility for her life and refuses to play the victim. She does not blame circumstances, people, or external factors for holding her back. She focuses on what she can control and takes ownership of her choices. She does not wait for someone else to give her permission to succeed. She knows that the only approval she truly needs is her own. She understands that courage is contagious. Every time she steps up, she inspires others to do the same. She leads by example, proving that fear is not a reason to stop, but a signal that she is stepping into something meaningful. She understands that the only way to grow is to keep moving forward, even when the path is uncertain. A winner woman understands that her mindset shapes her reality. She knows that challenges are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth. She does not allow difficulties to discourage her. Instead, she views them as lessons that will make her stronger, wiser, and more capable. She understands that success is not about avoiding failure, but about learning from it. Every setback, every mistake, every rejection is a stepping stone towards something greater. She trains herself to see the positives in every situation, focusing not on what went wrong, but on what she can learn and improve. She does not dwell on limitations. She refuses to let self-doubt control her decisions. She knows that her thoughts have power, and she chooses to cultivate a mindset that serves her rather than one that holds her back. She replaces negative self-talk with words of encouragement. She challenges the voice that tells her she is not good enough, replacing it with one that reminds her of her strengths, her resilience, and her past victories. She knows that belief in herself is the foundation of every success she will achieve. A winner woman embraces discomfort because she knows that growth does not happen in ease. She does not fear stepping into the unknown because she understands that her greatest potential is found outside of her comfort zone. She is willing to take on challenges that scare her, knowing that fear is a sign that she is pushing herself towards something meaningful. She does not settle for what is easy or familiar. She seeks out opportunities to learn, expand, and evolve. She does not run from difficulties, but faces them with courage, knowing that every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger. She understands that effort and persistence matter more than talent alone. She does not rely on natural ability, but on the discipline to keep improving. She knows that failure only exists when someone stops trying, and she refuses to quit on herself. She does not expect success to come overnight or without struggle. She embraces the process, understanding that true achievement is built through dedication, consistency, and resilience. She focuses on progress rather than perfection, knowing that every small step forward is a victory. She does not waste time comparing herself to others. She knows that every person is on their own journey, and that success looks different for everyone. She refuses to measure her worth based on someone else's achievements. Instead, she stays focused on her own goals, her own progress, and her own personal growth. She understands that the only competition that truly matters is the one with herself, the goal to be better than she was yesterday. A winner woman takes responsibility for her life. She does not blame circumstances or wait for luck to change her situation. She understands that she has control over her choices, her mindset, and her actions. She does not wait for the perfect moment or ideal conditions to start pursuing her goals. She begins where she is, with what she has, knowing that the only way to create the life she wants is to take consistent action toward it. She surrounds herself with people who inspire and challenge her. She knows that environment influences mindset, and she chooses to be around those who push her to be better. She does not entertain negativity, gossip, or toxic relationships that drain her energy. She seeks out mentors, friends, and communities that support her growth and encourage her ambitions. She values meaningful connections and believes in the power of shared wisdom and experiences. She is adaptable and open to change. She does not resist new ideas or opportunities because they are unfamiliar. She embraces uncertainty with confidence, knowing that growth requires flexibility. She is not afraid to pivot, adjust, and explore different paths if necessary. She trusts herself to navigate any situation, knowing that her ability to adapt is one of her greatest strengths. A winner woman knows that success begins with believing in herself. She understands that self-doubt is normal, but she does not let it dictate her actions. She refuses to wait for external validation before pursuing her goals. She does not need anyone's permission to chase her dreams, because she has already given herself the approval she needs. She understands that the way she sees herself determines how the world will see her. If she carries herself with confidence, others will believe in her as well. She knows that self-belief is not just about thinking she can do something. It is about knowing that she is capable, prepared, and deserving of success. She does not let past failures define her. She understands that setbacks are part of every journey and that making mistakes does not mean she is not good enough. She refuses to dwell on past disappointments or let them shake her confidence. She learns from her experiences and moves forward with greater determination. She understands that self-belief is not about being perfect, but about trusting herself to figure things out along the way. She embraces the idea that growth comes from perseverance, and she does not let temporary failures become permanent barriers. A winner woman does not wait for the right moment to believe in herself. She does not wait until she has more experience, more credentials, or more support. She starts with what she has and builds from there. She understands that confidence comes from action, not from waiting until she feels ready. She takes bold steps toward her goals, even when she feels uncertain. She knows that the more she proves to herself that she is capable, the stronger her belief in herself will become. She also understands the power of her words. She does not speak negatively about herself or allow self-doubt to dominate her thoughts. She replaces limiting beliefs with empowering ones. She reminds herself of her strengths, her achievements, and the challenges she has already overcome. She does not allow fear to control her narrative. She trains her mind to focus on possibilities rather than obstacles. She chooses to see opportunities where others see limitations, and she trusts herself to make the most of every situation. She does not allow criticism to shake her confidence. She understands that not everyone will believe in her or support her vision, but she does not let that stop her. She does not seek approval from those who doubt her abilities. Instead, she focuses on proving to herself what she is capable of. She takes constructive feedback as a tool for growth, but she does not let negativity define her worth. She knows that belief in herself must come from within, not from external opinions. A winner woman does not settle for less than what she deserves. She does not accept mediocrity because she knows she is capable of more. She sets high standards for herself and does not lower them to fit into anyone else's expectations. She knows her value and refuses to accept anything that does not align with her worth. She understands that self-belief is about having the courage to demand what she deserves, whether in her career, relationships, or personal aspirations. She also understands that believing in herself does not mean she has to do everything alone. She surrounds herself with people who uplift and encourage her. She seeks out mentors, friends, and allies who remind her of her strengths when she needs it most. She does not waste energy on those who try to undermine her confidence. She protects her self-belief by being intentional about the voices she listens to and the company she keeps. She embraces challenges as proof of her strength. She does not avoid difficult situations out of fear that she will fail. Instead, she steps into them with the confidence that she will find a way through. She trusts her ability to adapt, to learn, and to succeed. She understands that her greatest victories will come from the moments when she chooses to believe in herself, even when the odds seem stacked against her.